What's up, guys? Your boy, 22K13. I'm going to talk about 10 things we learned from Renee Young on Talk is Jericho. Since her arrival in the company in 2012, Renee Young has been an ever-increasing presence on WWE television, originally appearing as a backstage interviewer. She worked her way up to going ringside commentary on both NXT and Superstars, as well as hosting various events like the WWE Hall of Fame Red Carpet, Access, and the pay-per-view pre-game analysis show. Fans have taken to her and she's a natural in the role, never coming across as forced or out of place standing next to the larger-than-life personality she tasked with interviewing. She had a certain charm about her, as well as an intangible quality that had ensured that she never felt out of place, fitting in perfectly within the boys' club known as WWE. There have been rumors that other companies are interested in Renee. She definitely raised her profile considerably within the last 2 years, and it would be a real blow to the company to let her get away. Renee sat down with fellow Canadian Chris Jericho for a casual interview that were apparently taped some time ago. They mentioned WrestleMania coming up, where she gives insight on her career before WWE, how she got her start with the company, her thought on Stephanie McMahon, favorite matches, and much more. Read along to find out 10 things we learned from Renee on Talk is Jericho. And this comes from WhatCulture.com. Number 10. Using a vocal coach. Early on in the interview, Renee makes a comment about Jericho's Canadian accent, which leads into her revealing that WWE sent her to a voice coach before they would even let her on the air. She met with a woman on Madison Avenue in New Year who had her practicing her vowel sound to get rid of the accent, which was apparently pretty strong. The course was 10 weeks long and she called it insane. John Gubert, now an executive at TNA, is the one who made the decision to send her. She says she doesn't think her accent was that strong, and that every now and then she'll still hear it when she uses words such as sorry. The two speak about the different accents that can be found throughout Canada, and Renee says that a typical Toronto accent isn't that bad as opposed to a place like Newfoundland where it's very pronounced, or out west where everyone just laid back stoners having a good time. Chris then points out that where he's from in Winnipeg, accents have more in common with the famous Fargo accent rather than what typically considered a Canadian twang, such as saying a boot rather than about. Number 9. Interviewing the Rolling Stones. The very first thing she did, even prior to taking voice lessons, was get the opportunity to interview the Rolling Stones. Back in 2012, WWE partnered with Yahoo to present the Stones' 50th anniversary concert on pay-per-view. Renee was still living in Toronto at the time and brought her into New York to do the red carpet for the show, which was in New Jersey. She said that even thinking about it now, she's blown away by the fact that she exchanged words with Mick Jagger, and that life flies by so quickly sometimes you don't get a chance to appreciate those moments, but this is one that she's still shocked about. She said that she had very little experience doing any of this and called herself a hack, saying she just kind of make shit up and work for her. Young admit the assignment was way above her pay grade, and she on the red carpet waiting, not even sure if she'll get the chance to talk to them. Unfortunately, she didn't get to speak with Keith Richards very long, but got to shoot the breeze with Jagger for 2 or 3 minutes. She had a vivid memory of the interview, thinking that it went smoothly, but like all her other work, she never watched it back. This led to talk about the two running into each other at a Rolling Stone concert in Toronto when Jericho was incredibly drunk, beyond destroyed. He knew who Renee was but didn't have his wit about him. She reminded him of the time they went out and she stole her scarf, which he defended by saying she gave it to him. They were at a college frat bar in Dayton, Ohio with Seamus and she saw him at the airport the next morning with her scarf, but she didn't know him well enough, so she had to just let it go. Then she saw it on Instagram and thought, you dick. Young then credited Jericho with having the estrogen to put off rocking a floral printed scarf, admitting that not a lot of men can do that. Jericho agreed, saying he a scarf guy. Number 8. Getting hired by WWE. Jericho asked if she was hired to be an interviewer, since she became a jack of all trades, and she replied that she didn't really know what she got hired for. She was in Canada doing a post-WWE show for The Score that would cover the TV programming and pay-per-view. When her contract was up at The Score, she was looking to make the move to the U.S. and after other interviews, she decided to join WWE, but she had no idea what she'd be doing. Renee assumed she would be doing something silly along the line of what she'd been doing on The Score, and she started doing some international magazine style recap show before moving on to going the backstage interview. She called it a different hat for her to come in and be straight laced because that's not what she does at all. She said it's still weird to have to play it so straight because she had to take her background in comedy and acting and put it in her back pocket rather than utilize those skills. Jericho talked about how it's like that with a lot of people. You spend years developing the craft that gets you to WWE, and then once you arrive, they strip it all away. Number 7. Choosing a name. Jericho inquired about the process of naming her, and she said that her real name is Renee Paquette. Originally, her first name was Renee Sterling, and she kind of freaked out because she had no idea her name would be changed and didn't realize that was part of the deal. She said she was in the process of packing up her apartment right before she came down to do the Stone gig, and she got an email address to Renee Sterling, and she had no idea who that was. And I quote, I kind of had a bit of a meltdown because I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the name change, and I especially didn't like the name Renee Sterling. I sounded like some weird sexy secretary, so I gave them a bunch of different names to choose from, and luckily they were relentless in that. So I did Renee Young from Neil Young. I was kind of going through all of my records at home, being like, who's someone that I could steal their name? I was going to do Roger, which is Prince's real last name. I gave them Rustlin, which is Aubrey Hepburn's real last name. They didn't want the double R though. I gave them Ryan, which is a family name, which Renee Ryan I was actually stupid into, but they didn't want any of those. They went with Young, Neil Young, he's a Canadian. It worked. Renee says she still has a really hard time signing Young, so she usually just signs things with her first name. Jericho asked if they wanted her to change her name because it was too ethnic, but she says she thinks it's just policy for everyone. She said after she cried about it, she just dealt with it and didn't look into it any further. Number 6. Hosting the pregame show. After some lengthy discussion on the priority phones have taken in our lives, Jericho sees into talking about technology and the WWE Network, mentioning how much he enjoyed the pregame show that Renee hosts. He asked how she was chosen to host those shows, and she replied that she has to work her way up doing that. She said that she had a lot of experience on camera and as a TV host prior to joining WWE, but it took a lot of time for people in the country to get used to having a woman anchor that role and take over the position. She said she's proud to see it, but thinks it may have been a little bit of a glitch at first. Jericho compared it to being an NFL sideline reporter and said that sometimes there's a bit of a disconnect there, and Renee agreed that it can be visually startling. He said that sometimes people don't expect a pretty girl to be knowledgeable and passionate about male-dominated industries like football and wrestling. Renee responded that she never wanted to use her look or her gender as a crutch to advance in her career, or to be viewed as a woman in a man's world. She added that she started hosting a national show at 22 years of age and had always been a part of that, but she never really thought of it. She never really thought of it that way or face too many hurdles. She says she feels like if you're the person who best for the job is what really matters. She proud to be able to show girls who are WWE fans and want to enter the business that there are other paths to take rather than just being a diva. Chris asked if the shows are scripted and she said they not, but they follow a basic outline with pre-planned graphics and video package, and added that she doesn't like working from a script at all. Number 5. Doing commentary. Y2J asked Renee if she worked a lot with NXT, including doing commentary, and she replied that she was, but she's not doing commentary anymore, only going down there to do the panel for their live event. He asked how she liked sitting behind the desk, and she said that she liked it, enjoying doing it on NXT more than on Superstars, because the latter was always a little bit difficult because there are not really stories behind the matches. Young says she preferred doing three-man booth because his strong suit is shimming and random BS or fact about Alpha Flight or Mick Jagger tie and scarves and stuff. She called NXT a lot of fun and said it's a very good product with great people, and that there a sense of discovery as a performer there, because you have the freedom of experimentation, and that's what she loved about doing commentary there. Jericho asked if there was someone in her ear providing guidance during her time on Superstar, and she replied not really, adding that every now and then Michael Cole would send her a text asking, "What the hell are you talking about?" For the most part, however, it was kind of a free-for-all. Number 4. Becoming a wrestling fan. The two then discussed how Renee became a fan of wrestling, which she called a weird story. She said her real goal was to be Chelsea Handler, and the first time she saw her The first time she saw her, a light bulb went off telling her that what she wanted to do. She wanted to be able to be a bit more rude and brash and reminisce on a show she used to do on Bite TV, her first hosting gig, and she would watch it back and cringe at some other stuff she would say, getting criticized by her mom for the things that would come out of her mouth. She then moved on to the score because there are only so many broadcasting options available in Canada, and within a couple of months she was asked to do a wrestling show. She immediately agreed, and Jericho added that the number one rule of show business is to always say yes. The show was called Right After Wrestling, a name they were forced to change because of the acronym, and she went back and watched a lot of the product so she could polish up. Since her fandom had lapsed since childhood, she tells a story of being a big fan when she was a kid, and her dad worked at the Rogers Center and brought her to a Raw where she got to meet Steve Austin, The Rock, Mick Foley, and China. She admits there was definitely a time in her life where she and her friend were tombstoning each other, but that she moved on since, but because she had that base to draw from it, wasn't hard to get back into it. Number 3. The Pressure of WWE. Jericho wondered if there were things Renee noticed off the bat coming in, as far as how the company worked and the enormity of it, and if it was more pressure than she expected. She replied that it wasn't more pressure than she thought because she used to working a lot more, previously having to write and produce her own show, or at least work directly with the producer. She's there going from writing all of her own material to walking in and having someone hand her script isn't that hard. If I can't do that shit, send me back to Canada, I guess. Young add that once you get into the belly of the beast and see how things run, she got a whole new perspective and appreciation for the wrestler and what they do. She compared it to a soap opera in the sense that people can be very judgmental, but they also don't understand what a huge undertaking every single show is. She thinks that people don't fully understand or appreciate the immensity of it, and her eyes have been opening massively to that WWE does. Number 2. Working with Stephanie McMahon. When asked if Renee had a lot of interaction with Stephanie, she replied that she's great and said she loved her. She called her super, super cool and said she always been a big supporter. And Jericho added that she also always been a woman in a man's world. And I quote, I just think she's really cool. She's a super cool that you can. I just pass her in the makeup chair and we can shoot the shit about whatever. About something her kids have done or something going on in the show. My conversations with her have always been very casual, but at the same time she always been a big supporter and somebody that I know is good to go talk to. It's one thing for me to talk to Michael Cole or Jerry Lawler or even JBL, but being able to get any bit of advice from Steph, those are the little nuggets of somebody. Especially, I mean, even her as a performer. She awesome. She's so good. She's great. Love Steph. You can definitely tell from this segment of the interview that there seems to be a genuine friendship between the two, as Renee discusses one of her bosses so freely and casually that it comes off as very genuine, and it's good to know that someone so high up on the food chain is a supporter, of her work. Number 1. Favorite match, band, and Canadian. In response to her favorite matches she ever seen. She named the Royal Rumble Super Threat between Seth Rollins, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar as an awesome match. She added that Brock and The Undertaker at WrestleMania blew her mind watching it backstage from the gorilla position. Jericho then asked what her favorite NXT match was, and she quickly and confidently responded with a 2 out of 3 fall match between Cesaro and Sami Zayn, saying that those guys are great and they tore the house down. Jericho calls Cesaro a little underrated, and Renee replied that he one of those people who she thinks has so many different things to offer and find him fantastic, and that has to be frustrating for him because we obviously heard in so many different capacities that for whatever reason people think it's not working, it's not connecting, but he has absolutely every tool that they want and everyone. He'll get it because he's so good. Chris then mentioned that Renee is a music lover and inquired who her favorite band is, and she answered with Oasis on the subject of if they'll ever reunite. She said she heard that they might be doing something together after their solo project. They then discussed how many bands with brothers end up hating each other, such as the Black Crow and the Kinks. The final question is a first for talk is Jericho, as he asked Young to name her favorite fellow Canadian. After pondering for a moment, she named John Candy, calling Uncle Buck one of her favorite movies of all time, and Chris applauded her choice, adding Michael J. Fox to the list before the two discussed how Mike Myers and Jim Carrey would have made that list, but they lost some of their luster and have weird reputation. This was a really fun and entertaining interview, and Renee's charm is infectious. It's easy to see why she quickly advanced up the ladder in WWE, and the company would be wise to lock her up to a long-term contract because otherwise she's going to be very successful when she does eventually move on. Hopefully they let her open up a little more and show her expansive and gregarious personality. We also got a glimpse of a little bit of edginess, something that would be a nice addition to her on-air personality. Well, that's it, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you guys on the next one. Peace.